Well, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with the NFL for Week 8, 2014. Have a nice 6 or 7 selection this week. Highly recommend it. The lock will be in there. Had San Diego in the 15 yesterday, 14.5, 15. San Diego was such a huge trend yesterday, but the cornerbacks were out. I figured they still had other cornerbacks who were pro style, so I still took them. I thought the spread was high. San Diego is now 14-0 in Denver. They are now, the dog is now 13-1 in this series. San Diego is now 13-0 as the dog, and the dog is now 14-3. And we will be playing San Diego in San Diego when Denver plays them there. Now I know it's probably best to just keep playing Denver, and you probably win, but I remember a couple of weeks ago I locked them against the Jets, and late with 2 minutes left, they're up 7 points, 24-17. We're laying 3, and we're all sweating, going, "What the hell is going on? Why is Denver not up 50 points against the Jets, who are terrible?" And that's the reason. They don't, just because they don't win every game by 50 points. I thought it was a terrible holding call on one of the touchdowns when Eric Waddle intercepted Manning. If you get that interception, and then Rivers, they're only down 7, not 14, takes him down the field, you're looking at a 28-28 game, and you're going into overtime. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes the Teaserking has to make picks based on the trends that are happening. And you can't just bypass everything. You can't just say, well, you know, this is what's confusing this year. The trend was San Diego, Denver's playing great. Who do I take? Well, the whole theory here is to take the trend. That's the point of the San Diego-Denver trend. You're not doing the trends to say, well, forget the trend. Forget the fact San Diego's, at the time, 13-0 in Denver. And 8-0 the last 8, and the dog's 12-1, and the dog in the series 13-3. San Diego's 12-0 as the dog. Let's forget all that information and say, hell, Denver beat Frisco. Let's just play Denver. I mean, that's the point. Now, what's been happening is you've been getting the team. Now, there's a lot of injuries out there, which has been making it very unpredictable. And then you have the trends that, you know, what side do you take? Now, last week, I had Dallas over the Giants. The trend was the Giants all day. But Dallas is playing better. They just beaten Seattle. The trend was the Giants, and the Giants won with the spread. They were getting 5.5 or 6. You had 12. You won. They lost by 10. But I did play Dallas. So it's becoming where I'm trying to look at the short-term trends versus the long-term trend was take the Giants in that game. And the Giants were terrible against Philly, but we don't want to look at that. We want to look at it individually. I just thought the Giants couldn't win the game. That's why I took Dallas. I think +0.5 or even, whatever it was. Maybe it was -1. All Dallas had to do was win. And even that, it was close. They made you sweat until the end. But, you know, that's the thing. You've got to, in my mind, I got to play the trends. Or if I think that the trend, even though there's a lot of injuries, I'll lay off the trend. That's why I played the Giants over Philly. The trend there was the Giants. And, I mean, that's been the problem, is the trends are kind of getting beaten up a little bit, but consistently over the years, like 40 years of doing this, the trends are why I pick so successfully. So sometimes they don't win, and that's the percentage of it. But I you know, that's what's happening here. So anyway, let's look at the first game. Detroit laying 3.5 to Atlanta on the road. I like Detroit here, and I don't normally play Detroit on the road, but because it's a neutral site, if the game was in Atlanta, I would never touch Detroit. But because the game is in London, it makes Atlanta a road dog. And Atlanta as a road dog is terrible. Detroit's not a great road favorite. They're not a great road team. But Atlanta's a terrible road dog. You have a cheap line at 3.5. Detroit gets 2.5. Atlanta's got a lot of offensive linemen hurt. What's Detroit's strength? Defensive linemen. So I'm kind of taking the go against Atlanta trend with the injuries. I know Calvin Johnson's out, but Golden Tate's been playing well. They got other Reggie Bush and others. And this is really more you're betting Detroit's defense. I don't trust Detroit to win the game, but I'm going to play them to win it because I'm betting against Atlanta. And Detroit's not strong enough to really, do much with. It's a small play, but I do like Detroit. It's just going against Atlanta. Tampa Bay against Minnesota. Tampa's laid 3. I mean, Tampa can't beat anybody. To lay 3, you get 9 in Minnesota. It's just a joke. I mean, do you want Tampa to 3? Anybody? Who can they beat by 3? I don't think they can beat Jacksonville. So anyway, Tampa laying the 3. You get Minnie at 9. This is a point where you got a really weak favorite, Tampa Bay. You got Minnesota getting 9. You can't get too excited. Minnesota still. They don't have a good quarterback. They got a good defensive team. They played well at New Orleans when New Orleans needed it, and I locked New Orleans. And New Orleans won by 11. And you're scared the whole game. And that was against a good New Orleans team that had to win the game. I just look at Minnesota. They got good defense. They got good running. I mean, the quarterback plays so they can run instead of throw too much. But Tampa Bay is a favorite. I just don't see it. So take Minnie in the 9. New England against the Bears. New England laying 7. I don't know what New England team shows up. I mean, I think New England wins because Tom Brady. I think defensively they're very weak with the injuries. They just haven't had that same defense since they won the Super Bowls with Vrabel and Teddy Bruschi and Philip Seymour. They just lost too many players. Ty Law. I mean, they just didn't replace him. All right, you got Revis Island, who's good, but against the Bears it doesn't matter. He takes Marshall. You got the other kid out of South Carolina, who I can't think of his name off the top of my head. You got the tight end Bennett. You got Forte. There's too many weapons. I think New England wins this game by 3 or 4 points. I'm not sold New England's going to blow out Chicago. They had a hard time with the Jets. How do you have a hard time with the Jets? The Jets ran it on them. I don't think Chicago does it. I think Forte, he seems to be okay. Sometimes he throws the stupidest interceptions, but I just don't look at New England's defense that well. I think Brady has a big game because he's Brady, and I think Cutler has a big game because New England's secondary is kind of weak, and I don't know. I mean, okay, you want New England even or Chicago at 12? And I can't tell you either way. I mean, I don't like either of them. New England used to be a great home favorite, not anymore. However, they do win at home. You got them even. Before, this would be a 10, 11-point spread. Now you got it 6, even. Bears at 12. I think the Bears at 12, I lean towards a little bit more than New England even though I think New England probably wins the game, like I said, by 2 or 3 points. Seattle, laying 5 at Carolina. What's wrong with Seattle? You win the Super Bowl. What happened to their defense? Percy Harvin can't get along. I don't know about their offense. Russell Wilson, he throws for 150 yards at a time. Nothing makes sense to me here. I wouldn't touch Seattle. Carolina at 11. Will I trust them at home as a dog? Will Cam Newton do anything? I don't know. I mean, what defense shows up? I just don't trust Seattle as a road favorite right now. Very tough game. I'd probably take Carolina the 11, but I don't want to start. I just think they're a better play than Seattle to win the game. After what they did with the Rams, I mean, I have no idea. Seattle's just getting weaker. Without Harvin, it's going to be harder. Their defense. Now, when they played Denver, they shut them out. It was 17-3. And Denver got a lucky play and went for 2 or whatever. They made a closer game out of it. But basically, Seattle shut down Denver. And they put pressure on Manning. That's the thing I didn't see against the 49ers. I saw a little bit yesterday. They didn't pressure Manning. San Diego pressured him a little bit more. But you pressure him, the guy he cries and he falls and he throws the ball away. I mean, he's a terrible quarterback, but I didn't see Frisco pressure him once. I mean, it was like he had all day to throw. It was like, I didn't know what I was watching. I thought I was watching Denver play a high school team. I've never seen the Niners play that bad in my life. I mean, not with Harbaugh or Bill Walsh or any of the good coaches. I mean, that was, I don't know who I watched there. It was terrible. But Anyway, here I like I take Carolina in the 11, but not strong, and I don't. There's many better games to play. Just my opinion. Jets laying 3 to Buffalo. The Dogs 8-2 in this series in New York. Buffalo's 8-2. Take Buffalo. I think they're the better team. Again, you have a weak favorite, the Jets. So you get 9 in Buffalo. I think that's the way to go. I think it'll be a close game. It usually is in this series. It's usually a dog series. Houston laying 3 to Tennessee. The only thing stopping me from playing Tennessee is that they're starting. Who are they starting at quarterback? I don't remember, but some nobody. God, I can't remember the quarterback. Sorry. Houston is a go against team. Tennessee's a bet against team. They're both bet against teams. I mean, that's the problem here. I mean, you keep getting Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee. All three of them are terrible teams, and what do you do with it? Like, you can't play Houston as a road favorite. They can't beat anybody. Tennessee's a home dog with this quarterback. You can't play them. Just watch this game. It's probably Tennessee and 9's a good play. You take the dog, but it's too much risk here. Indy laying 3 to Pitt. Indy's a very good road favorite. Sunday night, I was able to bet Indy. They were even. Sunday night, I took them +6. And you can see that early bet. But here the spread is laying to 3. I don't like Indy getting 3. Pitt, I don't see Andrew Luck. He's not going to lose. Pitt really was terrible against Houston. They had some really freakish plays. I don't know why Houston did what they did. I mean, they fumble, and then they go back to pass. What are you doing? There's a minute left in the half. Just take a knee. What they're doing. They're a terribly coached team. But I don't see anything. I mean, Pittsburgh doesn't show me anything. Indy on the road as a favorite. Don't like it. I don't know. If you could get +3.5 with Indy, I'd take them. But otherwise, I don't know. Hard to go against Andrew Luck. But Indy is a road favorite at Pitt. If Pitt was favored by 3, Indy 9 would be a lock. And that's the difference. I have my lock game, but I got Indy favorite instead of Pitt favorite. And that's what happens sometimes. So you got to take try to get your better team. Cleveland laying 7 to Oakland. Cleveland couldn't handle Jacksonville last week as a road favorite. So you got to understand that concept. These teams, it's very hard to be a road favorite and win. And only Frisco and a Seattle and a Denver, New England can handle it. Most of these teams can't. So if you get that weak team as a road favorite, you just bail. Like Houston, Miami. You got to put Seattle in that class. I mean, it's just really tough. I mean, normally the good Seattle team I would jump all over, but this team's losing to the Rams. They're losing other games. I don't trust them. So anyway, Cleveland laying 7 to Oakland. I have no idea. I would stay away from that. I think Cleveland wins, but I like Derek Carr at Oakland. I always said that. Very good at Fresno State. You can take Cleveland and lay the 1, but I'm not that comfortable with Cleveland, this kind of favorite. I'm not that comfortable that Oakland's that bad of a team, I think, and that's the other thing. Cleveland after a while, I don't know. You can't say Cleveland for sure is going to win any game. It's hard to take there. New Orleans went from 1.5 to 2.5 over Green Bay. This is going to be a very interesting stat I'm giving you. You would think this play would be Green Bay at 8.5. When you look at Green Bay as a road dog, they're not a good road dog. They're very bad as a road dog. New Orleans is amazing as a home favorite. What you have here is, blindly you would take Green Bay at 8.5, 7.5, whatever your point. But this is really a New Orleans play. Very strong at home, and Green Bay is very weak as a road dog for some reason. I think over is a good play into this game. It's like 55 or 54 or something. Probably the best play because Green Bay will move the ball over on New Orleans. New Orleans will move the ball over on Green Bay being at home. I think over is the play, but I'm very leery of Green Bay at 8.5 here. I mean, they're just not that strong of a road favorite. And New Orleans has their problems, they'll get up for this game, but they're very good at home. Yeah, Graham's out, but this is the NFL. That happens to every team. So probably play the game over, but be careful taking Green Bay at 8.5. I do have a lock, which I have not mentioned. I can't mention locks out here. Two very strong teams to bet against are there, and that's about it. Like I said, I had San Diego last night and 14.5, and it's just it was such a huge San Diego. San Diego is the best dog in the league. They beat Seattle as the dog. They were good against Arizona as the dog. Here against Denver, they played Denver very well. Like I said, I'll take San Diego at Denver. But that's about it. So there's a lock in here, and be very, very strong. But yeah, definitely probably play like a small Detroit Buffalo. Play the lock with a couple others, and then college, some huge ones. Anyway, Teaserking, have a great weekend. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Should be a very strong week. And that's it. It's just like golf. You play one shot at a time. You hit the ball in the water, take it out, and hit the next shot. So I just keep playing them as I see them, and they're very strong. I've been doing this 30 years, and I, believe me, know what I'm doing. So have faith. Don't worry about it. All right. Take care. I'd probably buy the whole package this week. For sure the lock and the college, but you might as well buy the pros. Same price. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. We're gonna hit them pretty big this weekend. All right. Have a nice night. Take care. It's www.teaserking.com. Take care.